midfield players, the pressure they put in midfield, getting very close, winning balls back across the back line. It was a very complete performance. I think it was an absolute exhibition of how to go away in a critical stage in the Champions League to a difficult stadium and perform as a team.
Yeah, well, I think before the game we mentioned balance as well, and that's something that I think Liverpool have been searching for over a period of time, and I think tonight we found that in perfect harmony tonight.
If the Porto defenders had got close to Mane as Paul Dempsey did, I think they'd have done a much better job, don't you? But a word on Mane for a start. You know, perhaps out of the three, he's been the one who's been least on form perhaps in the recent weeks, although he's always a threat. Yeah,
and I think that's the important point in that he'd always be someone you'd worry about because he's got that pace, he's very direct, he's unpredictable in the way he plays, and then what we said before, if he does catch form, adding to Salah and what Firmino's doing, they're a real force. But like he said there, the team give them the platform behind, the midfielder they've pushed right up behind them. When they win the ball, then they're on the front foot, and when you've got that pace from their attacking players that they've got, they're a devastating threesome.
Yeah. Were Liverpool that good, or were Porto poor, or was it a mixture of both?
I think it was a mixture. Liverpool have dismantled Porto tonight. They defended very well. They've formed that base, but the pressing was superb all over the pitch. And with players in your team like them front three, you're always going to score goals. But Porto were poor. They were pressing slow, giving sloppy balls away. Liverpool bullied them all over the pitch, and you know, you are disappointed in Porto because you give them a bit of a build-up and a bit of respect before kick-off, but they were poor.
Having said that, the top of the Portugal league look like they're going to run away with things there.
Well, tonight said a bit about their league, actually, and I think, you know, the intensity of their league and what they're used to, that they weren't used to. I think they thought they could play from the back, try and play out and play through midfield at times. Liverpool were just not going to accept that. Every ball that went into midfield, one of the three midfield players were engaging, winning the ball back, and then they just countered from there.
Yeah, and I mean, Porto did have a couple of players missing, but aside that, though, the front three again, I mean, they were exhilarating, weren't they?
Yeah, they work off each other. I mean, we seem to speak about them every time they play these games. And the great thing for Liverpool is they were solid behind that today. But the minute they win the ball back, all three of them are on the offensive straight away. They link up together. They have one intention, and that is to get behind the other team. They don't waste time in attacking. And I think Firmino, who we spoke about before the game, his play, his all-round game was incredible. I mean, all three of them were incredible. I have to give a special mention for someone who doesn't always maybe catch the eye as much as the other two in certain ways, but he was brilliant.
I suppose you always need a little bit of good fortune to get things going, and they got it with the goalkeeping mistake.
Yeah, they did. I mean, as we said at half-time, it was very poor from the goalkeeper, and I think Mane gets enough from this, really. It's actually not a great finish in a way, but you make your own luck, and they certainly took advantage of that bit of luck as the game went on.
Yeah. Second goal was a bit special, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Mo Salah at his magical best.
The cheek of it, it was cheeky. Yeah. I mean, the ball came in.
Quick thinking as well.
Yeah, and the composure he showed to actually get the ball and just juggle it around at that moment. That shows you the confidence that he's playing with it. And a guy who's got 30 goals this season. Milner does fantastically well here, great effort. He's the man aware. Just over the keeper, sit down please, goal. Beautiful stuff.
Milner done great in the build-up, you know, winning it back initially. This is a great effort, could have scored himself. Comes back off the post, but the composure in this area of the pitch in such a big game is phenomenal.
I think that's the real maturity of Mo Salah. I played at him with Chelsea with him, and you saw little bits of skill and pace and trickery, but not in a consistent.
Is he surprising you, Frank?
Well, yeah, how far he's gone, yes, and absolute credit to him because he's gone away and worked very hard on his game. And from being someone who at Chelsea found it hard to push through into what was a strong team at the time, now he's affecting these games. Every game he plays, he's affecting it in a massive way.
That's very interesting there, look. The top goal scorers, you can see it for yourself, in Europe's top 5 leagues. Top 3, or 3 of the top, well, top 5, because they've got 28 goals apiece. But from the English league.
Yeah, I mean, and that shows that them boys there are really doing well. I mean, for many a year gone by recently, Ronaldo and Messi have dominated them charts and been weighing far above anybody else. But that speaks volumes of how our strikers in our league are doing. Top quality players on a par of anything around the world at the moment.
And it also shows the entertaining football that many of our sides are playing.
Yeah, I think it's the styles.
Yeah.
You know, three teams, you know, Spurs, Man City and Liverpool, styles in terms of attack and play. Managers who put confidence into attacking players and give them that freedom to go and attack at every occasion. And it's the speed. It's the speed in which these teams are attacking. Defenders just can't cope.
Well, there's no shortage of speed in this Liverpool front three, that's for sure. We talked about half-time, what would they do in the second half, and it was just more of the same, and even better at times.
It's the lightning speed of this attack. I mean, they were so quick all the time, but it's the speed of the attack. Look at the numbers getting forward. The choice of passes is always right. Firmino's first touch there was brilliant to be able to get his shot away. He's got, as you see here, there's not much time for that touch. Bang, gets his shot away. And when you stay in the game on another break, if you let someone run through Firmino, the goalkeeper saves that and you don't score. When you get up and get bodies around it, then you get those easy tap-ins.
And what they do is they run. As soon as the ball goes into Firmino and he sets it off, you've got 2-3 of them running onto it. And as a defender, you don't get time to set. They don't give you that time. It's so quick, it's lightning quick, and when they get up there, they've been very clinical.
How do you defend against
You make fouls.
that kind?
You've got to foul people. And European teams are normally good at that. They foul. The English teams we're a bit naive in that sense.
Right.
But the pace in which they do it and the quality with which they're doing it is phenomenal. And that's setting them apart as an attacking force at the moment.
I think teams like Porto, because they're at home, they have to come out. The fans demand that they come out. Teams that Liverpool have struggled against is, for example, a Swansea, who at home they think, well, we're just going to sit back. We're not going to give you that space, and we're going to force you out wide and not let these attacking players have so much joy.
I'm not sure Porto can sit back in the second leg either.
Well,
I'm not sure what they can do.
It's tight over.
Right, so it certainly is. Bobby Firmino got in on the act.
Yeah, deservedly so. Again, talking about him, what he offers to the team as a whole, we could have picked clip after clip tonight of him coming back into midfield and winning the ball. And sometimes when you do those basics in football and the hard work, you get your reward at the other end. Now, again, another special mention for James Milner here, because that could have been fizzed across the face. A lot of people would have tried to whip that right across that 6-yard box. No, takes half a second, waits for Firmino, and it's a clinical finish as well.
I mean, pretty much all of the goals, it stemmed from Liverpool winning the ball reasonably high up the pitch.
Yeah, on that occasion it was Mane. I think the work rate of this Liverpool's very, very special, and also we're speaking off camera about how unselfish they are. There's no greed in the team. There's no one who's selfish. They all pass the ball to each other. If someone's in a better area, they look for each other, and they're all getting in on the act because they know they're going to score heavily.
Yeah. Mane told us his favourite goal was the third one. I can understand why. He banged it in from about 25 yards out.
Yeah, and he took the hat-trick ball home with him as well. That might have had something to do with it.
Great flick as well, wasn't it?
The lead-up play to it, great awareness, great touch, and then that was brutal. I mean, he could have played he could have played it wide. That's the easier pass, but he selfish, hat-trick in his sights, perfect end to the night for him.
Beautiful stuff. Fabulous performance. And there's the top goal scorers in the Champions League this season. 3 Liverpool players. That's quite a statistic.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's impressive, but it's down to the team and that base, because, you know, they can attack so well from that, and they can all get in on the act because they're all so unselfish, but it is impressive.
It's February. 99 goals have scored this season, Liverpool.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliant from them. Again, those 3, they're always keeping up with play. They're always testing the back line, continuously testing and testing. Mo Salah's in the top scorers in the world in club football, and he's not an out-and-out centre forward. It's because he comes and gets involved in stuff, and then he's always arriving with his pace.
Yeah, and still people doubt Jurgen Klopp, don't they? It seems to me. But anyway, from my experience, winning is the most enjoyable thing.
Yeah, it is. But what's great that comes out of that interview, that yes, he demands quality. Yes, you need that quality in this part of the tournament. But work rate is at the centre of everything. Yeah. And the work ethic for any young player looking to make a name for himself, you can see it within this squad. That's a demand that is put on these players. I
mean, there's a demand on Liverpool to perform really well, and there's always been question marks about Klopp all along, hasn't there? I mean, even a few weeks ago there were doubts, and he seems to keep coming through those. What's he got to do to actually convince the Liverpool fans that he's the man?
Well, I think first and foremost, keep Liverpool in the Champions League. You know, keep finishing in the top 4 positions, and then try and deliver a trophy. You know, the club is about winning trophies, and sooner rather than later there will be an expectation that he has to deliver one.
But overall, it is right, isn't it, that some fans have doubted him in recent weeks? I mean, I sit as a neutral, I just love the way his teams play, and I enjoy
I think it's only a minority, Gary. Maybe after a performance like Swansea, where you're expected to go and blow them away, and you come unstuck with a 1-0 defeat, you get a minority that asks questions. It's always normal at a big club where the expectation's so big, but I think the big picture is the fans love him. He's taking the club forward. He's playing a style of football that we all love to watch. So I think it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great personality as well, a great character, and in many ways, his team's a reflection of his personality, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't not like listening to him.
Yeah.
You know, his character, he smiles. Sometimes even after defeat, he's got something interesting to say. But I do think that recently, Van Dijk, and I don't think he's actually been that long enough now, but it was very admirable that he didn't want to go stretch beyond the 50 million kind of mark to buy players. But I think he has now recognised that I do need to address that defensive problem, and they were rock solid today. There were no spaces for Porto. To go away to Porto and not really give them a sniff at this level shows how good they were at the back as well.
And I suppose if they do become rock solid defensively, blimey, what an outfit they'll be.
Well, I think that's the balance that they do need. You know, going forward, they're going to cause any team in the world problems. If you can get that base and that solidarity and keep being consistent and earn clean sheets and everyone fighting for them clean sheets, they've got a great chance to be successful.
Yeah. Consistency next.
Consistency is definitely a key, but I just keep looking at this forward line, and we were talking off screen before. Before you had Suarez, Sterling and Sturridge, and we were talking about who would you have out of these guys. I think the fluidity of this bunch that they've got up front now, I think even goes beyond that.
Better than City's?
I don't know, it's difficult. I love watching these play, but again, when you've got De Bruyne putting things on a plate for the likes of Aguero...
I think they're both excellent. I think what I would say about the comparisons to Suarez and this current team, I think there's a better blend here. With Mane, you've got the pace and the directness. With Firmino, you've got the touch and the hold-up play and securing the ball. And then you've got Salah that gives you a bit of both and delivers goals. So I think the blend's superb.
OK.